You could soon be able to take 12 weeks off after the death of a loved one if you work in New York State.
Right now, that law is in Governor Cuomo's hands after passing the state legislature. But News 4's Chris HORVATITS is here. He tells us why not everybody thinks this is a good idea. Chris?
We're talking about businesses here, Don, across New York. They're coming out against this bill, saying that while they do have empathy for the intent, many of them can't afford to have workers taking an unplanned 12 weeks off. A bill that would allow that passed both houses in the legislature this past session. If signed by Governor Cuomo, this bereavement leave would fall under the Paid Family Leave Act, which went into effect statewide at the beginning of this year. That's something that employees are contributing a max of $85 to this year, whether they use that leave or not. The Business Council of Western New York says they're worried that the legislation is too broad as passed and doesn't set parameters on how long after a death this bereavement leave can be used.
It's a very generous leave policy already. And again, we're not necessarily opposed to that. It's just the implementation of it that is a huge concern. And employers, especially small employers, need to be able to know that they're going to have a sustainable and accountable workforce.
Rochester area Senator Rich Funke pushed this bill. He sent me a statement saying, "As someone who has lost a child, I know there is no time frame on grief, and the last thing a grieving parent or any other individual should have to worry about is losing their job. It will not cost businesses any money, and it is certainly not a tax. To suggest otherwise is shameful." Now, in that last line, he's responding to an editorial in the New York Post from earlier this week, which criticized the plan, saying it imposes a new tax. No word from Governor Cuomo's office on whether he plans to sign or veto this, but the Business Council plans to send him a letter asking him to nix it. Chris HORVATITS, News 4 at 5.